A lot of people get this question wrong, and I really don't know why, because I think the right strategy here is to trust your instincts. I guess people are doing that, though, and maybe have bad instincts, and that's why they're getting it wrong. And maybe this is a good example of the case where your instincts have been so warped by bad advice over the years that you don't even know what your instincts are telling you. The answer is promise. Okay. Why? Because that's just what we say. That's a typical usage of the word promise, right? The idea, the models have expanded researchers' knowledge of ancient species and promise to advance the field of paleontology in the years to come. Promise is a common word, and it's a common versatile word because it has a lot of different uses. And so we use it a lot ourselves because there are a lot of situations in English where it is an appropriate word. So a person can promise someone else, like, I promise I'll be at your party, right? That means, I'm not lying, I promise I'll be there. We can also say that an idea or a new technology has a lot of promise, or a person has a lot of promise, right? They have a lot of, they generate a lot of hope or optimism for the future. And that's kind of what's going on here, right? They're talking about years to come, right? And it's promising to advance the field of paleontology. It's letting us hope that that's going to happen. So the reason that promise is such a common word for us is because it has a lot of various definitions. The other words, though, are much more narrow, and that's why you probably use the word promise way more than you use the word vow. In fact, the word vow really just, the only thing that comes to mind for me is like a wedding, right? The bride and the groom exchange vows, their promises about what the marriage is going to be like, but it's a very formal kind of word that has this very specific definition. People can make promises, people can make vows, and so that's kind of interchangeable. But you wouldn't say that like a technology vows to help us in the future. That's just odd. And that's, I think, where your instincts would be correct, is I think that you would normally think that that's weird, that sounds strange to say. But because vow is a more fancy-sounding word, we, for whatever reason, think that fancier is better, smarter is better, and we get rid of our normal instincts and go with this other very bad instinct, this bad habit that we've learned over the years. Don't try to sound smart. When you do, you sound dumb. So just let your natural tendencies with the English language take over. You are smarter than you think you are with a lot of this stuff. You can't prove this word per se, but your gut is going to be right. And I think the same thing is true of swear. People can vow, they can swear. It's like a heavy promise. It's a much more formal promise, right? We take a vow seriously, like, at a wedding, or like a knight is going to swear to defend the princess or whatever. Like, it's a much more serious kind of promise. But it's specific to people. Subscribe makes no sense. You subscribe to like a magazine, so this just doesn't make any sense with what's going on. So that's the worst one. But yeah, when in doubt with these kinds of questions, you want to pick words that are academic, words that, you say and you could write in an English paper for school, but that aren't so like over-the-top fancy that people would be confused, or that it doesn't fit with the specific situation, right? So the reason we use a word like promise ourselves so often is because it's a good fit in lots of situations. Trust that instinct. That's the one we're trying to use on these writing vocab questions.